Welcome to this.
And that. Hello and welcome to This and That. I'm Jennifer Kirk.
And I'm Dave Lees.
So we have updates on our comeback news. This week, Marina Anisina, as Dave would like to say it, or Anisina.
Very good, Jenny
I know,
Kirk.
right? I've been working on my Russian. Aren't you proud of me? She spoke to the Russian
proud.
press, and apparently Wendell has resurfaced from under the water, and he'll be back this week. They're going to start training. This is all becoming very real, but we haven't heard from him yet. It's hard to believe it, isn't it? It's a little bit hard to believe it.
Well, first of all, who wears the pants in that relationship? That he's like underwater, she's dragging him out by that long mane.
Come on!
Come on, we're skating. And what I love is that in the rhetoric of all of these articles, they say like they've been offered by the French Federation to compete at the Olympics. They're not saying they've been offered to try to compete at the Olympics. There's like a subtle, we're just going to put you on the Olympic team, get your ass back in the ring.
Well, it's so surprising. I mean, I'm sorry, but she's a little cray-cray, okay? To think that they can just come back and win maybe a second Olympic gold medal, win a medal. I mean, if you're going to come back and you're a reigning Olympic champion from the past, you're only coming back to medal or to win. They're not in shape, and they only have a few months to get this all together. I think it's insulting to the other skaters.
I mean, you've competed under both systems, and you had to adjust in the course of a season, and you had already been skating. They've never competed under this system. I find the whole thing to be...
What was her quote? Like, oh, but pigs can learn how to do it.
It's so
easy, like anyone can do
and I can't wait till they get like a level 2 or a level 1 step sequence. And
watch out, judges, she's coming for you. She is her personality matches the color of her hair. She is a fiery woman.
I know. And she did that Jesus program for Johnny, and then they never worked together again. It's all fun. It's all
fun. But Miki Ando spoke to the Japanese press last week. So last week when we had the show, we hadn't heard anything from her, but now it seems like she has a green light in terms of her comeback, too. She's been negotiating with different coaches. I guess she's in negotiations with a coach. We don't know who that coach may be. She's traveling to the U.S. at the end of July to get her free program choreographed. Again, I don't understand why she would want to come back. I saw those eye rolls. Saw that. Why would she want to come back?
It's like a termite problem. Just when you think you're done with them, you think that they're gone, they've broken up with the coach that was using his political pull to get them to the top for years, we think we're done. We're never done with Miki Ando. I think she's going to be like Fumie Suguri. We're going to see Miki Ando in Pyeongchang, okay? This is just going to be a problem we're going to have to address and deal with for quite some time. Again, I don't understand what the wait is. And why get a new long program? She already has one that she didn't compete. She's not an artist. It's not going to be some exceptional work.
I want to know, though, Dave, what is, like, behind your ire about her? You hate her. What is it? Like, what is it about her skating that is just so detestable to you?
I think it bothers me when someone gets artistic marks they don't deserve, and they clearly have no basis in getting, but when they use that politics and the group thinking, and I was talking to John Jackson about this, about how judges can use group thinking to get everyone else to think about their side, because judges have to be in a narrow corridor, otherwise they get called out. And it's really interesting to me how it happens, and how if someone's reputation gets built up and it only takes a coach to build your reputation, your marks start increasing. And with Miki, the marks never matched the program, and it was like, are we living on the same planet here? Like, what is happening? And
yeah, that second mark was definitely inflated. She was a good jumper, though. Quad style cow, triple Lutz, triple loop.
Good jumper. She did her crossovers like this.
Yeah, it's more the second mark, I think, that fans will get annoyed. But the announcement of the week was not the Supreme Court announcement. It was Ashley Wagner finally announcing her coaching, I don't want to say change, but adding to her team. On Tuesday, she announced that she will now be training part-time with Rafael Urturian to start in Lake Arrowhead, but then we have sources that have told us that he's moving down, away from the mountain, down to the Toyota Sports Center at the beginning of September. Okay, I have a few things I want to ask you about this. One, she's staying with John Nix. Why do you think she wouldn't just go full-time to Rafael? John Nix is about 50 minutes away without traffic, so she's commuting to two different rinks if he's moving to Toyota Sports Center. Why not just go all the way to Rafael, stay with him full-time? And do you think if John Nix thought that Ashley had a chance of winning a medal at the Olympics this season, he wouldn't have kind of stepped back and quasi-retired?
He came off of his fishing boat for Sasha, okay?
Right.
He's going back into retirement for Ashley. I think it says everything right there. He already gave Frank his, talented little girl that is going to go places. So as far as this goes, I think it says a lot. And I think it's probably better for Ashley to go to Rafael. John Nix is so respected, and he's wonderful at many things. Jump technique is really not one of his strengths. He's a great disciplinarian. He's great at the style. He really improved her look, her discipline, everything. He helped her skating. She's improved so much.
She really has.
Since the last Olympic cycle. I think it's reputation and politics, and it's probably that he doesn't want to damage her career. But there were a lot of reports that Philip Mills had a much bigger role in Ashley's training over the last year than John Nix did anyway. And there were quotes from Ashley about when she would come in the rink and Philip would send her home. And if you pay close attention, it seems like he may have done a lot of the actual training. It's skating, it's reputation, it's all a bunch of smoke and mirrors and BS. So I don't know how much time she'll really be spending with John Nix. I think it's interesting. But what do you think? Okay, it is just about to be July tomorrow. Can Ashley really improve her jumps that much? We're midway through the summer. She doesn't have her programs finished yet. She's not training them.
She's going to Toronto today. I saw that on Instagram.
How much can she really accomplish? She doesn't have that much time. And then once the competition season starts, and it's the Olympic year, so there are going to be media opportunities. She's going to be giving interviews. If she does well at a competition, they'll fly her off to the Today Show. Then she'll be back in training across to California. Then she'll be flying again. Hopefully she'll be making the final. I'm sure she hopes to be doing. Then she's at Nationals, and then it's the Olympics. When is there going to be the time to get the really hard training done to make the improvements that she needs to get done?
Here's the thing. I don't think she has to improve her technique. She has the jumps. The thing that Ashley needs is that she needs a coach that's going to ignite that killer instinct in her. She can do a triple flip, triple toe. She can do, her double axel is kind of scary. She may need a coach that can tweak that, but we've seen her do the double axel, triple toe. She needs to do both of those in her program, attempt them at least every competition this season, and I don't think that comes down to needing a technical coach. She has a beautiful triple loop. Her triple lutz is great. She just needs somebody to kind of ignite that fire inside of her and say you have to skate on the offensive, and you can't skate like you're trying to defend anything. She has really nothing to defend, I think, at this point. Yes, she's a two-time national champion, but I don't think many people think she's really the favorite heading into nationals this season. Obviously, the Grand Prix will play out a bit. But in terms of the training, she needs somebody who's going to have her do those programs. We interviewed Adam Rappan yesterday, and he'll be her training mate with Rafael. And he seems like he's somebody who really does his long program run-throughs. And I think skating with him and Evan at Toyota Sports Center, she's going to start to do those run-throughs. And really, Rafael's role more than anything is to tell her that you can do these triple triples. If you can do it in practice, if you can do it alone, you can do it in competition. And it's more a mental thing with her right now than I think it is anything physically or technically. What do you think?
Well, I'm sure physically she's capable of doing them, but mentally it's a different story. It's like how whenever we see videos of Johnny Weir training, you see him do gorgeous quads in training, and then in the competition, he gets a little slow going into it, and it's almost as if he plans to 2-foot or under-rotate it so he doesn't fall. And that happens a lot when Ashley actually goes for the triple flip, triple toe, or she kind of flips out. She gets tentative at that last second, and she has so much attack, except for when it comes to that thing that's really going to set her apart and to really go for the gold. It's like she tenses up. And I think it happened at the Grand Prix final and at Nationals last year. She has it. She can do it. It's what makes her interesting because she has all of this. It's like a duality. She has all of this attack, and she has that, like, sass, and, like, she puts on a show like she has that confidence.
And she'll own it. She'll say she wants to do something.
And at that last moment when she goes into the jump, it's like that little second guess that she's holds back a little bit. She needs to be a little bit more aggressive. Hopefully Rafael can bring that out.
Do you think that's something, though, that a coach can teach, or is that just an intrinsic words, killer instinct that's in a person, that the lights are on, you're out there on your own, and either you have it or you don't in terms of going balls to the wall?
Let's be honest here. A lot of what a coach does is mental at this point. Ashley's had her jumps for quite some time. Right. She has a gorgeous triple flip. It's one of her strongest jumps. She does it in exhibitions. Sometimes you need that coach to kind of tick you off and make you mad. Almost, it's that conversation at the boards. What are they saying to you?
Right.
I've gone out there and had my coach get mad at me on purpose, and make me really angry at her before I go out there, and I did well. Or sometimes they try to feel you out. What's gonna make you skate your best? And I think the thing I worry about is that she hasn't been with Rafael. She doesn't spend much time with him. When are they going to develop that kind of relationship with each other?
Yeah, and I think with Mr. Nix, he seems very hands-off in terms of that getting under a skater's skin in that fire, which is why I think Rafael just has a little bit more vim and vigor. But also in U.S. ladies skating news, I spoke to Alysa Czisny this week. It was her birthday. We wish her a happy birthday. Some of you were asking about the status of her hip injury and her recovery. She says she's been doing triples. Everything is going well. She hasn't yet done some of the harder triples like triple flip, but everything in terms of her rehab process is progressing just as she would like. She won't be competing in any summer events, but she says she does have plans to compete in the fall events. And that TBA spot at Skate America, just like Dave and I hopefully has her name on it. It would be great to see her in Detroit.
I love that she has to go to regionals and sectionals this year. I have no issue with Alysa having to go to sectionals, but I don't know about you. The last time I went to a senior ladies regionals, there were a lot of girls who looked like they were synchronized skaters competing in seniors for fun, and that they were under rotating double toe loops. And does Alysa really have to sit through that? Does she have to go travel somewhere to sit through? I mean, I'm sure it's great for her to get back into the competitive
I think it's good practice.
But it's just funny. You're a 2-time national champion.
Right.
I think maybe you could get a bye to sectionals.
Maybe not. But I think it's good for her to go out and to skate, and hopefully she will have a senior B or one of these fall events so that she doesn't have to go to the regionals and the sectionals maybe. But I think she's so beloved, and it would be wonderful to see her have just that breakout season this year. She's so pretty.
I know.
She just has this really nice aura about her that you're just like, you want to root for her.
Alysa's so funny to me because she's one of those people that should really probably have like a super big ego. She's a really gorgeous skater. She's really gorgeous physically, and she seems to be the only one who doesn't know it. And if I looked like Alysa Czisny, I'd probably be the nastiest person on planet Earth. And she's really the nicest girl.
Yourself out of it. She is just so sweet, and again, it's her aura. You're around her, and you're like, oh, I like you. You're really nice.
Yeah. I root for her.
Right? So we have some other U.S. skating news, don't we, Dave?
We do. Okay, so our Toyota update. Sources
we love our secret source.
We do. Okay. A couple of the coaches have sworn that they have seen Evan do the quad toe. Someone who was skating there recently said they didn't see him do the quad. They did see him do the triple axel, sections of his program. He's not training the full program yet. Is that unusual for him or not?
No. He usually starts, I would say, beginning of August, end of July, particularly if he's doing that senior B, it may be a little bit earlier this season. But no, I wouldn't worry about him not doing full run-throughs. The quad, though, is a little bit more suspect that it's hit or miss in terms of if you're going to catch him doing one.
Who knows how many he can do a day? Maybe he finally learned about overtraining or something like that. I doubt it, but it's interesting. The fact that he is doing pretty well, it seems like he's more prepared than Ashley Wagner is at this point of the season, or definitely more than Miki Ando.
And Marina Anisina and Guido Pezarat.
So I think that that's a good sign that he's at least making a real go for it. Obviously, he was training last summer. He already had the program, so he had a bit of a jump start on that. Mariah Nagasu's also been seen there. She's been trying a lot of triples, under-rotating a lot of them. Again, for Mariah, she's one of those people who she's in it for the third spot on the Olympic team, but there's a lot that needs to change with Mariah. There's a lot of question marks about how her training situation is going.
She's such a fiery girl, and she has such a spark and a personality, but it's been sad watching her in recent years. It almost seems like she doesn't believe in herself the same way that she did in 2010. But again, like Alysa, she's one of those sentimental favorites that I think so many people root for.
I think Mariah just got it together for 5 or 6 months and got really disciplined and really focused and got that attack back and that belief in herself. A lot of things could happen, but she's running out of time and she's running out of opportunities, and she should have been much further along in her career. She's someone with world champion level talent, and it hasn't happened. And at a certain point, you run out of time.
Well, it seemed like there were those moments where the door was open for her to come, walk right through, and she didn't. And when that happens as a skater, it can happen maybe once, and if you learn from it, you come back the next time. But it's happened to her 2 or 3 times, and I think after a while that starts to wear on you, and your confidence falters.
Yeah, and also Alexis Simeka and Chris Knierim competed at the Broadmare Open. They scored a 65.69 for their short program. They elected not to. Is that good? That's pretty good. They did a clean throw triple flip. They did side-by-side triple Salchows. They're planning on competing at the Detroit Open, as all of the pairs are. I kind of picked them to be our strongest pair this season. When we interviewed them, we had heard through the grapevine that John and Katie were not...
they hadn't been showing up for practice.
They hadn't been in Colorado. They had been in Florida. They were supposed to come back a couple of times. There's perhaps talk of boot problems or an injury.
Boot
problems, as Ty would say. She wasn't at governing council. He was there. He was seen limping. At this point, they're back in training. I think that the tide may have turned and that Alexa and Chris may be the top pair in that environment. They're young. They have very strong technical ability. They obviously have a lot to work on components-wise, but it almost seems like the U.S. pairs don't even get to the point where they can improve components. They just need to get these jumps down. So
just stick together enough to make a season or two. But I think it goes back to what you said initially about Ashley, that Alexa and Chris, they've been putting in that consistent work. They're going out, they're competing, and have been training since the end of Worlds. So I think you can't beat that consistent training, particularly when it's an Olympic season and there's going to be these pockets where skaters, whether they go out and do publicity stuff or shows or whatnot, you got to just get in that rink and skate consistently for months on end.
Yeah, and I think the fact that they had Delilah to themselves for several months since Worlds is really a plus for them. Obviously, it strengthens their relationship with her. They've had more time to work. John and Katie, they're coming off of his injury. I mean, I think that John and Katie have a lot of experience. They're, very good competitors, both of them. I think that they'll probably do fine at nationals. I just think that Alexa and Chris are attempting harder technique than John and Katie may be capable of doing this year. And that
Katie Denny, you can never count that girl out. She has that killer instinct.
She does. She lands like a cat.
Right?
It doesn't matter.
She is not going down.
What was with her hair at the last Olympics, though? I don't think we have ever forgiven her for that. But she lands those throws like a cat, and she's a good competitor, and you have to respect that.
Yeah, and hey, she's got a little bit of spunk. You gotta own it. So our final story comes from Anna, our Russian translator. We really thank you, Anna. We love you. Apparently, in the Russian press this past week, Alexei Mishin said that Karolina Kostner is no longer welcome at his training camp. She has been cut from the camp because last season she was training with him, and I guess she went back home, told her coach some information. We don't know exactly what that information was, and that was a big no-no with Mishin. Also in the article, it said that Plushenko doesn't want Mishin coaching any skaters that aren't from Russia. I guess he was coaching Javier Fernandez last season, saying that it's better to just keep that group Russian and have the focus more on Plushenko. Okay, what do you think Kostner could have said that was such a no-no? Because giving information, that seems like that's pretty standard. Any skater would do that, no?
Здравствуйте and welcome to Russian Drama. У меня, what I think.
Let's do it all in Russian. Go for it. No. I know one bliet.
The last time I checked, when you go to and pay to work with a coach, you're paying for their jumping advice and their jumping secrets. Mm-hmm. I think it comes down to the fact that Mishin would love for Elizaveta Tuktanisheva to be on the podium, and she's a close competitor of Karolina Kostner's. Elizaveta has the jumps. She doesn't have the look that Karolina has. Karolina needs the jumps. And I think Mishin is regarded as the strongest technical jumping coach in the world. You probably don't want to be giving your strongest competitors like Javier Fernandez or Karolina Kostner an advantage. I wouldn't read much into the fact that she's giving some secrets, because that's what she's paying for. Mishin has done seminars all over the world. He's worked with skaters from Minnesota. Alex Johnson had worked with him last year. I think it comes down to game plan. They probably don't want Kostner to know what Elizaveta is doing, maybe if she's looking bad, if she's looking...
Is she really a competitor of Costner's? I mean, she was a little bit of a hot mess last season, let's be honest.
She was, but if she gets in shape, and the Olympics are in Russia, Jenny, you know how that goes. So you never know. She's someone who does have the technical ability that Karolina doesn't always have. You never know what could happen over a summer. I think it comes down to that. They probably don't want them training together that often.
Yeah, I think it's understandable. It's, again, like you say, it's a little bit weird that he would say she's giving away information. I mean, that's, again, what she's paying for. But I don't think there's anything wrong with him and Plushenko saying, all right, we got to focus on our skaters.
Yeah, it's just that the fact that they try to throw some shade at Karolina. But at the end of the day, it's figure skating. There are 6 or 7 jumps that you do. There aren't that many possible training secrets that you could have. It's at the end of the day, you really can't. Everyone can figure out the points for themselves. There's only so much that you can really do at that point to improve over a summer. I really wouldn't read much into that one way or the other.
Fun kind of drama to throw somebody under a bus and just say, oh, she's blabbering my secrets.
And talking about secrets, Gracie Gold has said that she is working on new triple triples. She hasn't said what they are.
She's posting all about it. I love this social media because skaters post pictures on Instagram and you try to read between the lines of what is this message that they're trying to give us. But yeah, she's working on new triple triples. Seems to be.
Well, I think she wants Ashley Wagner to see that she's working on new triple triples. Let's be real here. At the same time, I think it's good that she's working with triple triples because I don't think that Sleeping Beauty program is going to be really boosting her up this season. I have some strong doubts about it. So I think that she knows that her technical ability is where it is at, and it's probably a smart decision.
Yeah, I think with her, it's all about momentum, particularly in the Grand Prix. She's going to want to go out and skate consistent programs so that she has that buzz heading into nationals. The judges want to give it to her, and I think we'll see her second mark at nationals a little bit higher than maybe she deserves if she skated well in the Grand Prix. With her, it's about, again, building that consistency so that the judges have faith in her that if they send her to the Olympics as a national champion, that they can rely on her to bust out 2 or 3 with the team competition good skates.
Yeah, she really needs to probably get a bronze or 2 on the Grand Prix this year, and she needs to win nationals going into the Olympics in order to set herself up well.
Yes. So as we wrap things up, we want to wish you a happy 4th of July. We also want to give a special thanks to Kevin Kwasniewski for our new opening graphic. Put a lot of work into that. And we thank you all for tuning in. Again, always share your thoughts with us. Send us an email if you'd like.
Yes. And as always, we'd like to remind you to get in touch with your inner Karolina Costner.
That bolero.
Steal those Russian secrets. Be a badass. Hold an edge.
And look sexy. Bye, guys.